Good evening, very good evening to all. I am Dr. Tirmal Devi from Kannur. Today's topic is a case study of uncontrolled T2DM patients on multiple OADs, making the pragmatic choice. Today's agenda is a case of T2DM uncontrolled on multiple OADs and starting insulin degladic aspart, targeting total control, and intensification of the insulin degladic aspart, matching T2DM progression. A case of T2DM uncontrolled on multiple OADs. Here is a case. A patient by name Mr. Arjun, 54 years old, working in a bank, has a history of 8 years duration of diabetes and 5 years duration of hypertension, complaining of burning pain and numbness of feet. And his current treatment is sitagliptin and metformin 50 milligrams bar 1000 mg twice a day, glycoside XR 60 mg once a day, and tablet amlodipine 5 mg per a day, once a day, and telmisartan 80 mg once a day, and tablet atorvastatin 20 mg once a day. And patient characteristics are: his BMI is 27 kilograms per meter square, that is, he is overweight, and HbA1c is 9.6, and fasting plasma glucose is 220 milligrams per deciliter, and postprandial glucose is 310 milligrams per deciliter. Examination revealed early diabetic retinopathy in the left eye. And comments are: he takes carbohydrate rich meals, and his lifestyle is busy and has erratic eating patterns. And coming to the diagnosis of the patient, it's a case of uncontrolled T2DM for a long duration with hypertension, but the blood pressure readings are not given. Whether the hypertension is controlled or uncontrolled, we don't know. And he is having a diabetic neuropathy and non-proliferative retinopathy (NPDR) in the left eye with clinically significant macular edema. When there are two microvascular complications, diabetic neuropathy and diabetic retinopathy, we have to rule out the third microvascular complication, that is diabetic kidney disease. So, do the renal function test and calculate the eGFR and rule out the diabetic kidney disease. And this is the right case for the initiation of the insulin therapy to prevent the further complications and tight glycemic control. Reasons to choose IDEC as in this patient: Arjun, he is an insulin naive with inadequate response to triple oral therapy, and he has complications and comorbidities coupled with high HbA1c level, and he has high carbohydrate diet and high postprandial glucose levels. He needs total and tight glycemic control for better health and quality of life and outcomes. So, options for insulin initiation. Here there is comparison between once a day insulin degladic aspart versus once a day insulin glargine U100. In this study, in this study, 296 subjects were selected, insulin naive patients with T2DM. The inclusion criteria are T2DM more or less than 6 months, and previously treated with one or more OADs for at least 12 weeks with at least recommended maintenance dose for local labeling. HbA1c is 7 to 10%. BMI is less than 35 kilograms per square meter. Age is more than 20 years. And in this study, there are two arms. In one arm, 147 patients were on insulin degladic aspart once a day plus OADs, and another arm, 149 patients on insulin glargine U100 once a day plus OADs. This study is from 0 to 26 weeks conducted between 0 to 26 weeks. This is an open label, and before randomization, sulfonylureas and DPP-4 inhibitors and glenites were discontinued. The starting dose was 10 units for both treatment arms. Insulin degludec aspart was administered with largest meal of the day. The dosing time was chosen at the discretion of the patient. Iglar U100 was administered according to the label, either before the breakfast or at the bedtime at the discretion of the patient. The timing of the dosing was not to be changed during the
Tommy, quiet, Tommy, quiet.
Here there is comparison of Ideg once a day to Glargine U100 once a day in insulin naive patients. This first slide shows the brown line represents the insulin Glargine and blue line represents the Ideg. There is superior reduction of HbA1c with insulin degludec aspart compared with the to insulin Glargine, and the similar fasting plasma glucose control with both Ideg and Iglar U100, because Ideg contains 70% of the degludec as basal insulin. And
Cursor వస్తుందా? Point cursor వస్తే better. Scroll. Yeah, that's better.
in this third slide shows there is significant reduction in postprandial glucose after dinner with insulin degludec aspart. And but there is postprandial excursion with insulin Glargine U100
Oh, good.
approximately 54 milligrams per deciliter. So there is no reduction in postprandial glucose with insulin Glargine U100, and there is lower risk of confirmed hypoglycemia with insulin degludec aspart compared to insulin Glargine. So this slide, in patients uncontrolled on OADs, insulin initiation must offer better efficacy without compromising on safety. First slide shows on x-axis it shows HbA1c less than 7% without hypo, and the y-axis shows proportion of the patients in 26 weeks. In this bar diagram, 43% of patients on insulin degludec aspart achieved HbA1c less than 7% without hypos. Compared to this, insulin Glargine U100 achieved only 25% of the patients achieved HbA1c less than 7% without hypos. So there is Ideg is more superior to insulin Glargine. With Ideg, 72% more patients achieve HbA1c less than 7% without experiencing any hypoglycemia than once a day Iglar U100. Starting Ideg and targeting the total control. So there are few key clinical considerations to start Ideg. The questions are: what should be the starting dose? The common questions we face are what should be the starting dose, and at what time of the day should Ideg be administered? What does major meal mean? Which device to choose? How to inject Ideg? How to adjust the dose of Ideg? So Ideg initiation. Administer the Ideg either once a day or twice a day with the main meals. Administer it alone or in combination with oral anti-diabetic drugs or bolus insulin. Recommended total daily dose starting dose is 10 units. Requires subsequent individual dosage adjustments. And this is a slide. When we switch on from basal or premix insulin to Ryzodeg, the dosage adjustments, this slide. When the patient is taking basal or premix insulin once a day and switch in to the Ryzodeg, there is no need to adjustment of the dose. It is 1:1 ratio, like that. When the patient is on basal or premix insulin, taking twice a day and switch on to the Ryzodeg twice a day, there is the same ratio, same dose of insulin. Example, he is taking 10 units BD, Ryzodeg is also 10 units, we have to start the Ryzodeg 10 units BD. So 1:1 ratio. And when the patient is on basal bolus insulin, when he switch on to the Ryzodeg insulin, the dosage should be individualized. So frequent glucose monitoring is required in the first few weeks to achieve the optimum glucose control. So the major meal. The major meal from clinical point of view. So there must be a discussion or agreement between the physician and patient about the meal pattern should be done to identify the major meal. It is very crucial. Both the quantity and quality of the carbohydrates consumed through the food matters. Here there are 3 meals to identify the major meal. Examples given. First meal is pizza. Meal A is pizza. Which contains 106 grams of carbohydrates per 210 grams. And meal B, chicken biryani, which contains 31 grams of carbohydrates per 200 grams. Meal C is fish curry, which contains 6.1 grams of carbohydrates per 210 grams. So we can clearly know that meal A, pizza, is the major meal in this case. So the major meal from clinical point of view, an example of simple way to identify the major meal. Look at your plate. The largest meal is the meal that usually contains the largest amount of the bread, rice, potatoes and sweets. Wording should be adapted as per local cuisine and simplified to help patients understand the meaning of high carbohydrate meal. Otherwise, in another way you can assess the major meal by doing the SMBG, self-monitoring of the blood glucose. So the device, which device to choose? IDEGASP has 2 best delivery devices. One is the Flex Touch, which is a pre-filled insulin pen and with no push button extension. It's a unique injection mechanism, very low dose force, no need for resuspension. It is a use and throw pen and maximum dialable dose is 80 units, and open pens can be stored between 2 to 8 degrees centigrade or room temperature for 4 weeks. Unopened pens should be stored at between 2 to 8 degrees centigrade until expiry date. At the end of the dose, while injecting, we heard a click. It is easy to administer. Even old people can administer it very easily. It is accurate and consistent dosing, and it can be given in NovoPen 4. It is a lifelong pen. So this pen can suit all type of cartridges of Novo Nordisk. Example, human Actrapid, Mixtard, Insulatard, Novorapid, Novomix and Ryzodeg. Every cartridge can fit into this NovoPen 4. Accurate dose delivery for more than 5 years, and it is cost effective and low dose force to inject, easy dose adjustment and easy to read dose scale because there is a magnifying lens over this. So insulin injection site. Selection and rotation of the site is more important while injecting the insulin. So this slide shows insulin lipodystrophies due to non-rotation of the injection site, and this slide shows the sites to be given and on the abdomen, and the rotation, how to do the rotation in 1, 2, 3, 4 like. And this slide shows within the sites how to internally rotate the site 1 inch apart from each ejection. And patient education on adjusting the dose of insulin deck aspart. Insulin deck aspart once a day is titrated based on the fasting plasma glucose, and insulin deck IDEC aspart twice a day is titrated based on pre-meal glucose values. Okay, if the plasma pre-breakfast or pre-dinner value is less than 80 milligrams per deciliter, the dose should be reduced by 2 units. Insulin dose, IDEC gas dose should be reduced by 2 units. The blood glucose levels are between 80 to 130 milligrams per deciliter. There is no need to adjust the dose. When the blood glucose levels are between 131 to 160 milligrams per deciliter, you have to escalate the dose by 2 units. When the blood sugars are between 161 to 180 milligrams per deciliter, the insulin dose should be escalated by 4 units. And when it is more than 180 milligrams per deciliter, insulin dose should be escalated by 6 units to achieve the glycemic control. So coming back to our case. So we started insulin from here, the chart given from 0 weeks to 12 weeks. We started with the 10 units of the Ryzodec with the major main meal. Here the patient has breakfast is a major meal. So we started Ryzodec, the IDEC ASP with the breakfast. Here the fasting plasma glucose is 220 and post breakfast is 310 milligrams per deciliter. Post dinner is 166 milligrams per deciliter. HbA1c is 9.6 and weight is 62 kilograms. After 8 weeks, after escalation of the insulin dose to 18 units, the fasting plasma glucose come down to 132 milligrams per deciliter, and post breakfast come down to 174 milligrams per deciliter, and post dinner comes back to 168 milligrams per deciliter. After 12 weeks, after escalation of the insulin dose to 22 units, the fasting plasma glucose is 122 milligrams per deciliter, and post breakfast is 158 milligrams per deciliter, and post dinner blood glucose is 170 milligrams per deciliter, and A1C comes down to 9.6 to 7.3, and his weight is 63 kilos. So there is no much difference of weight gain after 12 weeks. So initiating and optimizing the insulin deck aspart. So oral medications, sitagliptin and metformin was continued along with the drugs for hypertension, along with the IDEC. Gliclazide was discontinued, and insulin is initiated with 10 units with the breakfast, largest meal for this patient as I already told, and titrate to 22 units over 12 weeks, and at the end of the 12 weeks the results are excellent. Fasting is 122 milligrams per deciliter, post breakfast is 158 milligrams per deciliter, and HbA1c decreased from 9.6 to 7.3%. And after 12 months, as the disease progresses, the requirement of the insulin increases, and after giving 26 units of basal IDEC, the fasting plasma glucose is 118 milligrams per deciliter, and post breakfast is 156, and post dinner is 188, and A1C is 7.4, and weight is 64. So after a year also there is no much weight gain. The only 2 kilograms of weight gain seen with the IDEC. So sustained glycemic control with initiation and optimization of the once a day IDEC ASP. Intensification of the IDEC ASP matching T2DM progression. So
140.
114. Okay. On 14 month, by increasing the dose to 30 units per day, there is escalation of the posterior glucose to 220 milligrams per deciliter, and A1C is increased to 8%. So there is a time to intensify the insulin regulated aspart. So to control the blood glucose levels. So current insulin regulated aspart dose is 30 units once a day. Post-inner glucose is 220 milligrams. So what can the physician do for optimum blood glucose and HbA1c control in this case? So as the disease progresses, the beta cell function declines by 4% every year. With a we start the treatment of diabetes with lifestyle modification plus OADs in the initial stage, then initiate the insulin plus existing OADs with basal insulin and optimize and titrate the dose to reach and maintain the glycemic targets, and then intensify the dose of the insulin and OADs for additional mealtime coverage. So yet why insulin intensification is delayed? There are so many barriers. Here the barriers are treatment complexity is one, and fear of hypoglycemia, and fear of clinical inertia, and inflexible regimens, and fear of weight gain. Can we find solutions to the above barriers? So IDEC ASP offers simplified approach to the insulin therapy compared to the basal to basal plus to basal bolus therapy. In the first slide, it shows OADs, then we add uncontrolled blood sugars, we add basal insulin. If still blood sugars are uncontrolled, we add basal plus insulin aspart, and then basal plus insulin aspart twice a day, then basal plus insulin aspart thrice a day. That is basal bolus therapy. So this is a lengthened procedure and time taking and multiple injections. So compared to this, IDEC ASP is simplest procedure. With OADs, existing OADs, we add IDEC ASP once a day. We start with the IDEC ASP once a day. If it is blood sugars are not controlled, we intensify the dose to twice a day to get the better glycemic control and target HbA1c.
Yeah, you can go to the next.
So, options for insulin intensification: co-formulation versus basal plus bolus therapy. Here, the patients with type 2DA are selected. 532 number of patients were selected, and inclusion criteria are type 2DM and age more than 18 years, treated with basal insulin regimen more than 90 days prior to screening, plus OADs for at least 90 days excluding thiazolidinediones, HbA1c 7 to 10% both inclusive. So the treatment period is 0 to 38 weeks. In the initial treatment initiation period is 0 to 26 weeks, and intensification period is 26 to 38 weeks. Okay. In the first term, we selected insulin regulated aspart plus OAD in 267 patients with once a day, and another arm insulin glargine U100 once a day plus insulin aspart once a day plus OAD in 265 patients. And later in the intensification, we made it BD, insulin regulated aspart, from once a day to twice a day along with OAD. And in the intensification of insulin glargine plus insulin aspart, once a day to twice a day or thrice a day along with existing OAD in 265 patients. This study is a randomization 1:1 study. This is an open label study, and subjects on insulin IDA-GAS OD not reaching the glycemic target, HbA1c more than 7% will be intensified to IDA-GAS twice a day, whereas subjects in the IGLAR arm not reaching the glycemic control will be intensified with one additional IASP insulin aspart dose to IGLAR OD plus insulin aspart twice a day or thrice a day for remaining 6 weeks of the intensification period. And in this study, sulfonylureas and glenides were discontinued at randomization and other OADs continued unchanged. So co-formulation versus basal plus and basal bolus therapy. So results. So blue line is IDA-GAS and brown line is IGLAR U100 plus insulin aspart. There is similar reduction of in HbA1c with both IDA-GAS and IGLAR U100 and IASP. And similar reduction in fasting plasma glucose with both arms. And there is comparatively lower hypoglycemia with insulin regulated aspart compared to the IGLAR plus insulin aspart. There is a nocturnal confirmed hypoglycemia is significantly lower with the insulin regulated aspart compared to the IGLAR and insulin aspart. It is significantly lower dose requirement of the IDA-GAS as compared to basal plus bolus therapy, 12% lower at 26 weeks and 9% lower at 38 weeks. And this patient uncontrolled on multiple OADs initiating, optimizing and intensifying the IDA-GAS after 14 months. At the end of the 14th month, the patient blood sugars after posterior blood glucose is increased to 220 milligrams per deciliter, and HbA1c is increased to 8% with 30 units of IDA-GAS. And at the end of 15 months, so we have to intensify the dose of IDA-GAS once a day to twice a day. So we made it twice a day. We divided the dose, total dose to 28 units in the morning and 8 units in the night. And the blood sugars, fasting blood sugars are 103, and post breakfast is 156, and post dinner is 160 milligrams per deciliter. And at the end of the 17th month, the same dose, the fasting, post breakfast and post dinner are within the normal limits, and HbA1c decreased to 8 to 7.1, and patient weight is 64 kilos. There is no much weight difference. Insulin regulated aspart can be safely administered once and twice daily without increasing the risk of hypoglycemia.
The questions and answers తీసుకుంటారా? Praveen తీసుకుంటా.
When IDA-GAS is administered once daily, the IDA component essentially reaches steady state within 2 to 3 days due to approximately 25 hours of half-life for IDA. This slide shows at the steady state, the glucose lowering effect from the basal IDA component is similar regardless of whether the IDA-GAS is administered once or twice daily as long as the total daily dose of iodogasp is unchanged. So, latest RSSI consensus, iodogasp recommended choice of insulin for initiation. Initiate with once a day iodogasp and intensify with twice a day iodogasp. So, let us summarize. In patients uncontrolled on multiple OADs, insulin initiation with once a day iodogasp with major meal offers superior glycemic control with improved safety as compared to iClar U100. In patients uncontrolled on basal insulin, once a day iodogasp offers similar glycemic control as compared to basal plus therapy with significantly lower risk of nocturnal hypos, lower insulin dose requirement, and with lower number of injections. Iodogasp is a simple and convenient option as start and stay insulin therapy in patients uncontrolled on OADs. So, I thank you.